preferred choice? The preferred choice is to use measures. So this is not a valid use case of calculated columns. These values are statically stamped onto the table and can't filtered, sliced or diced, etc. So we cannot do anything with these values. Neither we can do any kind of a filtration. So it is just kind of a repetition of the same values multiple times. So the observation here is that similar to the Excel formulas, here we have created a new kind of a row property, and this row property will help us in doing the filtering or the segmented of the related data. Like wherever we want to see parent equals to yes, we can do the filter context will work. But here, if we want to check our filter context, it will not work. Okay. So now we will go back to the Power BI slides and see like what we explained, how in the practical slides this can be important. So here you can see my screen. So now we are on to the Power BI side. So we have our adventure work reports data model complete. Now we will go towards our table view. So as I mentioned you, this time we are not going towards the Power Query editor, but we are going in our data view, and we will select our sales data table. And then we will try to create one of the calculated column. This will replicate the quantity type column created in Power Query editor, but this time we will be creating it using the DEX functionality. So I will right click it and I will click on new column. So as soon as I will click on new column, you see a column is appearing up here and the sigma symbol is also coming. But the one thing to notice is this time we are creating it using DEX view. And if I will not put any value, I will click on this side of canvas. You can see that column has been removed. So this column, how it is working, but this was not the case with the Power Query editor. There at that time when we are creating a new column, it was just getting added up. And if you remember, there was some applied steps which got noted inside the Power BI memory. But this time that functionality is not happening up. Instead, one of the other option is opening up, which is DEX IntelliSense. So this is known as the DEX IntelliSense, which got opened up, and I have to key in some value, the name of the column, the formula. If I will not key in anything, I will click here, it will be lost. So this is the main thing. So I'm adding up a new column, and now what I want is I want to give this new column a value. So we will be using a DEX IntelliSense, which has been opened up. So let me give the name to it, which will be like quantity type. Okay, so this is my first language, and next one is to hold down Shift and Enter. So I am holding down Shift and Enter, and the second will be coming. So this is some kind of a functional programming language. In that way, it will work. And if you want to utilize the DEX IntelliSense functionality, we have to write it down. As soon as we write it down, it was showing like for if how many kind of operations are available. And then I will hit one more time. I will click on this, and then it is showing us, okay, if is used for a logical test, then a result set if true, and then an optional result set which is false. So now I want to check on the basis of sales order quantity. So I will put like order quantity. So there are two ways to do it. Either you can go by the table name. So here the table name is sales data, but it will show all the columns. So since I know what column I want to do the operations on, so I am putting like order quantity. So sales order quantity, I put it. Next option is if it is greater than 1, then I want result set to print multiple items. And if it is not, then I want to put single item. Okay. I put the values, and now I want to set lock this all right, lock in this. In order to lock in this, I have to hit enter. So as soon as I hit enter, you can see now a new column has been established, which is quantity type, and we can see it over here, right? And now this is not lost. So if I'm clicking anywhere, this column has been in our data table view. So we are not losing it now because we have written out our DEX formula using the calculated column approach. So now let's check it if it is correct or not. So what I will do is check on 2 and 3. So yes, it is working fine on 2 and 3. It is coming multiple items, and on the remaining one, it is showing us as single items. So this is working. Now I want to do one more thing over here, like which we discussed, which we do not have to do with the calculated columns, the sum approach. So what I'm doing, I will go and add one more column. And this time I will name it total quantity. So I want to use that same IntelliSense of DEX. If you want to use IntelliSense, you have to put on shift and hold and break down your code into each code should break down into the single line. Then this option is going to get arrived. So now we'll click on order quantity. And I will hit enter to lock in this. So you can see the total quantity column has been arrived here. The row context is completely ignored. We have used the aggregation function to calculate all those things, and the repeated value has been stamped against each row, which is what we don't want. So that is why the DEX measure for aggregations comes into the picture, which we will be discussing not today, but tomorrow or in the next session. So this complete session will be on the calculated columns, and tomorrow's session will be on the DEX measures. So the summary and the key takeaways are calculated columns we always use when we want to create a static row-based property, which we did here, a flag kind of a column, or to put our default values and something similar like that. If wherever the row context is needed, we will use the calculated column. But wherever aggregation is used, like sum, count, average, deviations, we will not use calculated column. Creating numerical values meant for visualizations and scenarios where filter context is required. In these scenarios, it will not serve our purpose. So this column is not serving any purpose if we want to do the filter context. So what I will do is I will just delete this. Quantity type we will keep. Okay, so any confusion up to this part? Okay, if not, then Sai, you don't have any questions, right? So now let's start with our quiz part. Where do you create a calculated column in Power BI? First question, who is going to get it answered? Sai, you want to try? You are on mute. Sai Mara?
Yes, Kapil.
Yes.
I'm just taking the options.
Okay, so see, the first question is like, where do you create a calculated columns in the Power BI? So we just discuss it, like where we will
Power
create it.
Query.
Where?
Power Query Editor.
No, Power Query Editor, I just explained you, we will not use this one, calculated columns, because this is the part of our DEX language. Right? So we are using this in our table view. So this one is the correct. So if you just noticed me when I was on this side, I was into the table view. So these are the views, right? So this is the table view where I added this new calculated column, right? And this is our report view. I was not here. Report view will be used to create and utilize the measure part. This is the DEX view. And this is the model view, which we have already discussed when we were discussing about the data modeling and all those concepts. So currently I was in the table view where I created the calculated column. Okay, so now going to the second one, which is the correct DEX formula to classify order quantity into single item or multiple items. So Diana, you want to answer this? Out of the four options, which one is correct? You,
Uh,
you have written so many DEX formulas already.
yeah, the correct answer is A.
This one you are saying?
So yeah,
Let's okay, we have just written it down. Let's check it if it is the correct one or not.
I know it's greater, only greater than 1. Yeah.
If we write it, let me write it down. Okay, I don't know
Yeah,
if
no,
it
equal.
is.
No, equal
So
is
it is
equal.
it is giving us an syntax error. So this is not the correct one. So this one
Yeah,
is the
greater than.
correct one is the second one. Okay.
Yeah.
So why should you not use sum in the calculated columns? Mansi, you can answer this.
Why you should not sum in the calculated column?
So the what options we
Uh,
have, like sum works only in the Power Query, sum ignores the row context and repeat the grand
Mm,
total, sum is not a valid DEX function, and sum is only used for filtering data.
Uh, B, sum
Hmm,
ignores the.
correct. So sum, what we